What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another very exciting episode right here on the MIgardener channel. It is a stunning day in the garden today. Oh my goodness, you guys. It is beautiful. Anytime I think of like the perfect summer day, I think of a few clouds in the skies, a gentle kind of 5-mile-an-hour breeze just to kind of circulate the air, and about 72 to 75 degree weather. And that is everything. Check, check, and check. It is amazing out, you guys. So I am having a wonderful day in the garden today. I hope you guys are as well. And I really hope that the weather is amazing wherever you are at. So it is just so nice to be out here, especially getting the chance to bring the camera out and bring you guys along for another very exciting episode. So what am I excited about today? Well, in today's episode, I'm going to talk about pruning your basil. We've talked about this in the past, but a lot of people are new to this channel. If you're new, welcome. I appreciate it. But a lot of people are new to this channel or just haven't seen the video that we did or the videos that we did on this. And they keep asking me, Luke, would you do a video on pruning basil? My basil has stopped growing. It is flowering. It looks like it's going to die. I don't know what to do. Please help. And so that's what I'm here for. So I really hope that you guys are going to enjoy this video. It's going to be a shorter video because it's very, very simple. But I do want to kind of throw in some other tidbits of information to help you out. So the first thing that I want to talk about are the different varieties of basil that exist and how it affects their flowering. So if you're growing something that is an early flowering variety, like a blue spice, African blue, there are the Thai basil, there are several different Siam Queen basil is another one. There are several different early flowering varieties that will flower very, very early on, and that's because they're more of a decorative ornamental variety of basil. Now they are still edible, they are still delicious, and they have a lot of culinary uses. However, those ones are going to flower sooner than some of your later flowering varieties like a Genovese, a Mammoth. There's also Italian large leaf. Those ones don't flower nearly as early as some of your more decorative varieties. So growing different varieties can definitely affect kind of how soon they start to flower and how soon you have to start maintaining them. Because you don't have to maintain a basil plant that's not going to seed. If it's not going to seed, you could continue to let it go and or continue to let it grow, no pun intended, and just let it go and you don't really have to maintain it. It's only once it starts flowering that you want to come in there and prune, or if you want to harvest from it and eat it, that's really necessary. Other than that, the plant will continue to grow. The only time the plant stops is if it starts to flower, because then it focuses energy on flowering and going to seed rather than growing. So depending on the different varieties you're growing can definitely help. And also there is a third variety called Perpetual Basil. This is one, it is a hybrid, but it is one that if you don't like harvesting basil that often and you like just watching it grow into a beautiful tall bush and you don't like it going to seed, you can plant a variety called Perpetual Basil, and this variety just continues to produce. It is a variegated basil, and so it is kind of like a more ornamental than culinary, but you can eat it as well. All the basils you can eat, and so that's one that you can try as well. And it's a great variety to grow, but it's not as fragrant as like your Italian large leaf or your Genovese or your Thai basils. So take that for what it's worth. But there are 3 different varieties of basils out there. And so now I want to bring you guys in close. First, I did want to mention kind of some benefits to pruning. So even if your plant is starting to flower, your plant will only start to die if you let it fully flower and let it fully form seed. Once it actually starts to flower and form seed, the plant will start to die. So you can come in there and hack off the plant and you're going to be fine. You've saved it. It's going to regrow tons of new growth. And it's really hard to kill basil once it's established. The next benefit to pruning basil, besides saving it and continuing its life, is it's actually going to multiply. You're going to get these nice, beautiful bushes like I have here. I have these gorgeous bushes that are pretty much just, they're thriving because I'm continually pruning them. Now I am consuming them, so it helps. The more you consume, the bushier they're going to be. But these nice bushy plants here are a product of me constantly coming back and pruning off all of that new growth, and then it basically just reroutes the energy into more new growth, more side shoots. It's the equivalent of tomatoes growing suckers, or anything that once you prune the top, it will fork and it'll branch, it'll produce more side growth And that's nice because it actually will give you more to harvest. It is actually exponential with how much it can produce. So it's a benefit to prune as well, to maintain the plant, because it's going to give you more. And then the third and final reason it's a benefit to pruning is it actually will help to give off essential oils. Essential oils in the garden are so important to us as organic gardeners because those essential oils are what help to mask the scent of things like tomatoes from tomato hornworms, cucumbers, cucumber beetles, potatoes and potato beetles, zucchini plants and squash plants from squash bugs and squash vine borers. And so the more essential oils you have and the more frequently you're kind of playing with your herbs, the more essential oils are going to be spread throughout the air, and the more it's actually going to help mask the scent of those other plants. That's why I'm a huge advocate of growing herbs all amongst your garden, having a really good biodiverse garden so that the scent of these plants are helping to mask some of your other plants that are more pest prone. So those are 3 benefits to growing and pruning your herbs and maintaining them. So now I'm going to show you guys how to do it. It's very, very simple, and it only takes a couple minutes. So come in close, and let's get some basil. All right, so you'll notice the plants are gorgeous. I mean, just stunning. I have a little hedge of basil here just because our family's pizzeria uses this, and it's really nice to always have some good basil on hand. But you'll notice that the plant, as it grows, it produces these nice large leaves, and this is the main stem. And you'll notice it forks. This is what I was talking about when you prune, it helps forking. That produces another little side shoot, which is another, basically a whole new basil plant. But that main growth stem comes up, it forks, and as it gets closer and closer to the top, it starts to produce smaller and smaller leaves. And those smaller and smaller leaves produce then a flower head, and you can see a flower head here. You can also see a flower head over here. And those flower heads are what we don't want. Now some will get taller. This one here, it's getting nice and tall, and there's no flower heads. Just depends. So what we want to do is we want to come back here all the way back to where this plant forms a split. And we want to remove that. And that way, all of that flowering enzyme is out of the plant. It's actually an enzyme that the plant gives off. It's a chemical signal. So what you want to do is you really want to come back and aggressively prune it back. Don't worry, you won't kill the plant. It's going to keep bushing out. Coming over here, we'll do the exact same thing to show you again. You want to come all the way back to the next cross, to the next growth point where those little side shoots are popping out, and prune it back. Let's see if we can find a couple more here, because it doesn't take any time at all to prune these. Yep, here you go. So you see a little flower here. It's not really flowering yet. It's starting to get ready to flower, and you want to catch it early. So come back here, see the 1, 2, and prune. Very simple. Here's another one. Come all the way back. Look for those side growth. See the side growth, prune. That simple, you guys, that simple. And now the benefit is you got all this beautiful basil. Now you can take this in and turn it into basil pesto, throw it into pasta, put it on fresh pizza. Margarita pizza, delicious. Okay, so what do you do if the plant's not flowering and you just want to prune it? You just want to continue that bushy growth and continue to encourage the plant to grow lower to the ground, have a better center of gravity, and produce even more side growth. Well, you do the same thing. You treat it just as if it was going to flower, only you just come back in here and just prune off any growth you want. It could be new growth, it could be old growth. Just prune the plant back. Notice how I'm just doing this with my thumb. I'm just taking my 2 fingers here and I'm basically making a V, and then I'm just pushing through the V with my thumb to snap off the new growth. You can do this with pruners as well, but with basil, they are very resilient. You really have to try to kill them and to do significant damage to them. So I'm just coming in here, and the general rule of thumb is to remove about 30% of the plant. Now you can remove less than 30%, but in order to keep the plant nice and bushy and well pruned, 30% is kind of the recommended amount. So when you're going to come in here and you're going to commit to pruning off this much or so from every plant. And that's why, you know, 4 or 5 plants, it's enough to feed a family for the entire year, plus put some up. So this is how much I've gotten from just 2 plants. It's a lot of basil. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned something new. There's really nothing more to know about pruning basil. Just get in there, get the job done, and move on with the rest of the chores in the garden and take this into the kitchen and enjoy it. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned something new. If you did, remember to throw a like up there. It helps spread this video around and helps our channel out. So thank you guys so much, and we'll catch you all on the next episode. Grow big or go home, everyone. Bye.